they say success leaves clues. Get around people who have done it, like listen to people who've been there, right? Like do your homework and surround yourself with people who have traveled that path that you yourself want to travel.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Marissa, which is the founder of Marissa Alexandra Style. So Marissa, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make the first million?
Hi guys, thanks for having me today. 5 steps to get you to a million. I think the first step would be to keep iterating. Very, very rarely do things go according to plan. And I see this with a lot of entrepreneurs. We're hesitant to start moving until we have a solid plan. But really, like fortune favors the speedy, right? So you got to start moving. So iterate, keep going. Just be quick on your feet and don't be afraid to take that next step, even if you don't have it all figured out just yet. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is surrounding yourself with the right people, like getting into a network that is going to be supportive to you and your goals, but also is going to show you the path to success, right? They say success leaves clues. Get around people who have done it, like listen to people who've been there, right? Like do your homework and surround yourself with people who have traveled that path that you yourself want to travel. So that's number 2, is getting around the right people, the right network. Number 3 would be, entrepreneurship is like such a gnarly roller coaster. Like there's high highs.
Tell me about it.
Low lows, right? It's kind of, a little bit like parenting, right? Like some days we're high highs, some days it's super hard. And like having the wherewithal and the right mindset to support yourself, to keep your head in the game and continue to show up for yourself in your business by being that self-encourager, I think is a really, really crucial step to being an entrepreneur that goes the distance, that doesn't burn out, is being able to show up for yourself that way. The third would be, and in my work with branding and personal styling, is getting super clear on your messaging, right? If you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. And so really clarifying and distilling what your messaging is. And there's a lot of ways we put strategy into doing that online, but being able to talk, to iterate, to put words one-on-one with people in real life, like being able to know and live your message inside and out in real life is a big deal. And so that's my last tip, is being able to translate that message to your personal life, to your real life, really embodying it, starting from a place of authenticity with your brand so that it doesn't feel like a separate thing from yourself. So being able to have that message clarity and then being able to embody that and translate that into how you live your life and how you interact with people on a one-on-one basis is super, super huge. And that's what's going to help you stand out by being that authentic brand, that authentic person that makes sense online to people, but also in person when you're across the table from them.
So Marissa, tell us, how you end up becoming an entrepreneur? What happened?
That's a funny question, right? When someone's in an accident, you're kind of like, what happened? So here we are.
Why you don't have a job like everybody else?
What went wrong in your life that you chose to be?
You crazy?
Yeah, exactly. And we are all a little bit crazy.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so I think just kind of seeing a need, right? Like being in the business world and seeing a need, seeing a blind spot, and then wanting to, like, desiring to help. I think that's the biggest thing, is those are the best stories, right? When someone's like, I went through something and it was super hard and I didn't have the help that I need, so I created it for other people. And so I think that entrepreneur journey starts from a really deep personal place. And that's maybe why we're a little bit crazy, is because we have so much conviction and so much passion, because it comes from a really personal place of desiring to help others.
I agree 100% with you. Every entrepreneur has something within themselves that says, one day I'm going to do it. And I can do better. This is always within ourselves. However, do you have any role model? Your parents entrepreneur? Do you have a friend, a book? Because, I had it that, and I always knew that I want to do my own thing, that I want to make something amazing, that I can help a lot of people. Yeah. But uh, I have this within me, but I need a little bit of push. Yeah.
Mm,
And in my case was this book of Rich Dad Poor Dad of Roy Kiyosaki.
mhm.
And that gave me the last push that I needed. So where do you who give you this little push? Do you have a family? Anybody in your family entrepreneur? Any friend? Any book?
Yes.
Any TV
Yes.
show?
I
What
mean,
gives you this
actually,
little push that we always need?
all of the above, really. And sometimes it takes like, those nudges from, God or the universe to, the guy that hit you over the head sometimes with it, right? So I am super blessed to have my aunt is a successful entrepreneur. She built a $50 million relocation business,
Wow.
and able to watch her do it was like so inspiring. I don't know that I would have the audacity to
So what
think
happened when you
I
were a
could.
kid? You would see your auntie work, and you say, "Wow, um, one
Yeah.
day I can be like
It
her,"
can
right?
be done, right? It can be done. And so seeing that is possible. And then also I'm involved in an entrepreneurial network called E-Women Network. And the goal of that organization, their mission that they're like incredibly passionate about, is helping 1 million women achieve $1 million in annual revenue. And
Wow,
so it's they are
I need
powerhouse
bring them
women.
all of them. I want them all of them in my
Okay.
class. Yeah, we need more women
Okay.
here. Too
Yeah.
many boys already. Yeah.
But that's the goal of that organization, is kind of investing and developing these women and giving them training to achieve that. And so I think seeing it done, and then also being in camaraderie, being alongside women who are making it happen too, is what continues to make me think, continues to keep me believing. Having that like support system around you and being able to see it done as an example.
I think it's big help to be part of the community, right? To be part
Totally,
of the
absolutely.
community, but you also have to be brave to decide, oh, I want to be part of that community, right? Because my parents, they're teachers, and all what I hear in my house all the time were, oh, you have to go to university all the time. You need to have the best degrees in university, so then you're gonna have an amazing job. Your
Mm-hmm.
life will be sorted. So I went to university. I started really hard, and I got a degree in chemical engineer, and I never practiced chemical engineering my whole life. So so the whole thing. But my parents were happy that I got a degree, right?
Absolutely. Right. Right.
They were very happy that I did that, but at the end of the day, it didn't do that much for me. However, so sometimes when we start our journey as an entrepreneur, sometimes become a little bit lonely if we don't have a community
Yeah, absolutely.
that that supporting what I call it an empowering context where we have a group of people with the same goal, and then you're not a stranger anymore. You talk
Right.
the same subject that everybody is talking, and we are heading to the same goal. So how do you find this network?
E-Women Network. So it's actually a global network. We have chapters in Canada, in Australia. We had our annual conference just a couple weeks ago in
Who told you
Dallas.
about it? A friend?
There were
Find it yourself in Google?
my aunt, who is an
Ah,
entrepreneur,
very good.
connected me
Very good.
connected me. But yeah, it's a great group, and they're all over the world. So definitely worth looking into for that community space.
You see, it's always that's what we do in this series of podcasts, because it's always, even if your aunt or maybe somebody listening this podcast, if they can find us a role model that, wow, I can do one day I can do something like that. This initiate the spark, right? Because you see, well, somebody else has done it. It's unusual.
Sure.
Most of the people are going to work and have a job, but I have a role model of someone that is doing something different and is
Right.
producing different results. So maybe I can do that. So I think that one of the reasons that we do this podcast is that the greatest, I think that we can have more successful entrepreneurs if we can guide the entrepreneurs, especially women, where they can go, where they can hang around, what are the supporting communities that can, so they don't feel alone, because it's even hard for men. Right? When I become an entrepreneur by accident. I didn't even know nobody in my um in my family is an entrepreneur. So I wanted to do it. Yeah, I didn't have a model to read that book. And then here I have a product, I sell it, I'm making a profit, and there you go. I'm in business. And now I had to learn a lot of gazillion things that I didn't have any idea that even exist. And I am my own, right? So I think that so what message do you have, Marissa, for women that they are listening this podcast, that they're trying they're thinking to start a business, or they are having a small business but they are not growing? So what message do you have for these women, and how they can get some help or support?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it is daunting. But that's part of it, is being able to allow yourself to try. And so I think being able to start putting feet to your plans, stop writing it down, stop playing office, get out of your office, start talking to people, start connecting, and start doing, right? Start implementing, because that's how you're going to learn a lot faster. That's how things are going to come together for you a lot faster. And so that's the phase that a lot of I think side businesses never really get out of, is they're such good ideas and they're things we could talk about because we're so passionate about it, but we really don't know if that's viable, if that's really going to help our intended audience, until we start putting feet to it. So my advice would just, hey, start, keep going, keep putting feet to it, and be a learner, be a listener, right? I think we get in our heads and we start to iterate and think about what our audience needs or what our client needs. And we don't pay a lot of attention to what they want, because sometimes people are not buying what they need. They're buying what they want, right? What they
Absolutely
think they need, right? So being able to get good at hearing and what are people gravitating towards, and packaging yourself and your services as something people want, but also giving them within that what they need, right? So I think that's a big lesson that I've learned too, is being able to kind of tell the difference, but then serve both.
Okay, so tell us how you end up in fashion, because one thing is, I want to become an entrepreneur, but now to pick this industry, which is extremely competitive and tough. So how you end up in fashion?
Yes. So I went to film school. That's my background, is in production. And my skills grew as I would read a script and I would understand a story, and I would understand where we were trying to go, the message we were trying to send, and align the visuals, align the set design, align the costumes to tell that story. And so now my work is in personal branding. And so I connect with professionals and clients, and we write their story. We write their script. We figure out what is it that we're trying to communicate about you and about your business. And then we align their visuals to support that story. Because I have seen so much inconsistency in the brand and the story we tell online, and then how we show up in person for the meeting, right? How we look when we show up for the webinar or the masterclass or the interview. So being able to bridge that gap for entrepreneurs is where I have found a niche, is being able to interpret and develop and take a digital brand to a brand presence, because I think that's kind of been in the blind spot for a lot of entrepreneurs for a while.
Follow us for more interviews with the world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.